this is my answering a bunch of questions about OCD. So, how has OCD affected your life most? It's kind of a challenging question because it trickles through to every part of your life. So it's hard to pick up most. It just makes me feel this need to control every aspect of my entire household, my family's behavior regarding contamination. My OCD is all centered around trying to stop people from getting sick. It's all contamination related. Yes, I do like things to look kind of tidy, and things do have spots, and it bugs me if they're not in the spots, but that's like really minor, and wouldn't even qualify as a disorder if it was only that. It's the fact that it intrudes on your daily life that makes it a disorder, as you probably know. So I mean, we always wash our hands before, when we come in from outside, like outside the house, anything, whether we were just in the yard or whether we were in public, but especially in public. And I'm pretty anal about all those kind of things. It's caused me to carry wipes with me that have bleach mixed in, because bleach is the only thing that can kill certain viruses, mostly like stomach viruses, and those are like enemy number one for me, because they're just I can't deal with nausea, basically. I don't like throwing up. I'm emetophobic. But I think actually the extreme nausea is the thing that I'm kind of phobic of the most. So I have 2 kids, and so anytime that they sort of say that they feel sick or they feel weird or yucky, or especially when they were younger and they couldn't really explain that very well, my my anxiety would just super skyrocket. So everything I've done, everything I tend to do, all my little behaviors, all are to do with trying to avoid getting sick. And I always have some kind of anti-nausea medicine in my bag at all times, kids version and adults version. Like I said, I always have the bleach wipes. And I will never say eat something with my hands if we're out. I've got to be able to use utensils, or hold it in a wrapper. And I want the kids to do the same thing, and that's really hard to get kids to do, especially when they're younger. They just want to put their hands on everything. They want to put everything in their mouth, and it just it stresses me out a little bit. So one of the main problems that I have, or worries that I have, is to do with the kids, and I worry that I'm going to somehow give them my level of phobia, because like through teaching it almost accidentally to them, because they know the things that I make them do to try and avoid getting sick, and then I'm really kind of worried that I'm going to make them have to agonize over being ill or worrying about possibly getting ill, just because of all the things that I've done and all the things that I go through. So I don't want to teach them that level of anxiety, because it's extremely uncomfortable. So that really is an interruption in life, and it's like one of the major effects. Next question is, can you recall a big moment in your life that was heavily affected by OCD? Not a specific moment, because it's just always there. I kind of touched on that in my long-winded answer to the first question. Not really a big moment. I just feel that my life is overall heavily affected by OCD because of the fact that I have kids and the fact that I don't want to make them worse, about things than they need to be. Anytime any of the kids says something about, being really ill, or when my youngest was a lot younger and he'd be putting his filthy hands in his mouth, it's not even like I don't care about like dirt and bacteria for whatever reason. It's just the viruses, and I'd feel like, oh my gosh, what is he putting into his mouth that I can't see? Dirt you can at least see. But I'll agonize over that. And I know it's not fair. How stringent I am is not really fair to the other members of my family. But at the same time, I feel like if I don't do this, my anxiety levels are going to be so high that I may have a panic attack. And I have woken up in the middle of the night in the middle of a panic attack already, like just from sleep. I don't even know what I was dreaming about, but and that's pretty awful. So yeah, I feel guilty at the same time as feeling like, but I can't not do these things because, things could be even worse. So it's a conundrum. The next question, when were you diagnosed and how has your life changed since then? I was diagnosed about 1.5 years ago, but I've lived with this for like basically ever. I was the little kid who'd be eating French fries at McDonald's, and the end that I would be holding on to, I would discard. Like even as a child, and I don't know how it really came about. It's just something that I don't know slowly happened. My life has gotten better since getting on proper medication, which is mostly just like an SSRI, like an antidepressant / anti-anxiety medication. So it tends to keep the anxiety level more manageable, which allows me to use other techniques that I've learned over the years, like CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, where I can I do like a lot of self-talk, just in my own head. Well, sometimes out loud too, actually, where I try and logic myself out of feeling that anxious. I try and use logic to think through things and go, okay, well, the chances of this happening are, really, really slim, or I don't. I try and think more logically, so that I can help myself calm down a bit. And I also have been practicing meditation and mindfulness. And at first it was horrible because you notice all of the feelings in your body. Like you notice how anxious everything is. And at first I felt like this is making me more anxious, but it was just that I was paying attention to it. So I had to practice a lot, especially with the breathing thing, so that it could kind of start to become more, second nature, as a reaction to do. Because as soon as you get that high level of anxiety that you can't even think straight, like, oh yeah, maybe putting on a meditation video would be a good thing to do right now. You just don't even think about it. You're too busy feeling like you might just die in a minute, which you guys might be familiar with. I don't know. Anywho, the medication I take is at least allows for that moment to think about things I can do to help myself. And I try to also keep a dialogue open with my kids, just to kind of let them know, look, okay, I know this is, a little extreme, or mom is being a little unreasonable, a little, but I try and let them know that this is just my anxiety, and I don't want you guys to feel that it's a really huge deal to get sick every now and then. It's not like, I take it like, you might as well be in a hospital with something terrible, but no, stuff that normal people go through all the time and get over it all the time. But for some reason, I don't know, it's just my thing. So I try and let them know that it's just me, but could they please help me out? I just don't want them to end up where I'm at. Even though I am doing quite a bit better than I did beforehand. I'm just going to pause this for a second because my dog is barking. And the last question is, what is the biggest misconception about people with OCD? That we are just anal retentive about being clean and tidy. No. I mean, yeah, there's like an element to that, and for some people that's maybe their most extreme part of it, but it's not as benign as that, and it really irritates the ever-living heck out of me when you get people so commonly saying, oh, I'm so OCD about that, or, as though it's just liking things to have a spot. It's not just that, it is the intrusive thoughts, to be honest. The worst part is the intrusive thoughts. And it's not just thoughts either, for me anyway. It's these horrible visions. Like, I just get, hit with a vision of something absolutely horrible happening. And it just it runs in front of my mind's eye, I guess. And you just feel like, holy cow, I do not want that to happen. And here's the thing, because I've had the thought, no matter how illogical or unlikely it is, in my head, in my body, it feels like it's 100% entirely possible and maybe even likely to happen if I don't do something to try and prevent it. And so for me, my things that I do to try and prevent it, are usually about trying to keep everybody clean and safe. Because otherwise you get harassed by your own mind until the point that your anxiety just goes up and up and up, and then your body just flips into panic mode, because it's like, no, all these feelings have been around for too long. There must be a reason for it. And boom, there you go. Your body is reacting like it's a life or death situation all of a sudden. And of course, that's a really uncomfortable place to be. It's an uncomfortable thing. Nobody wants to be in a life or death situation, I don't think. So no, I'm not up at 3:00 in the morning, meticulously straightening the fringe on my rug or something. And, no offense intended, of course, to somebody who has that situation going on, because for whatever reason, doing that prevents something in their mind much worse from happening. I totally get that, of course, but no, I'm not just being tidy. This is not what it is for me. And that is, to me, the hugest and most irritating misconception about OCD. I'm not just an anal retentive person. I'm pretty chill in pretty much every other way. And no, we can't just get over it, by the way, no matter how many cute little memes and supportive words. Oh, also, don't try and force us to stop doing it. That's just mean. That's mean. Okay, don't do that either. But yeah, help us to little bit by little bit maybe ease up on stuff so that we can be more reasonable. Cool. Anyway, this is personal, I guess, eh? Didn't expect to get that fired up. Okay, I better stop talking before you guys get bored of me.